Hello everyone, I am Humaira, faculty at Apar Health. Today my presentation is about ICMR guidelines and artificial intelligence. So in this presentation, we will get introduced to what is artificial intelligence and what are the ethical guidelines given by ICMR for artificial intelligence and research. So let's get started. First of all, what is AI? This is the buzzing word around that everybody knows about. So it is actually a system's ability to correctly interpret data, more specifically external data, and to use those learnings to achieve specific goals and tasks. So it's actually a complex computer algorithm. AI uses that complex computer algorithm to emulate human cognition. And it has far-reaching capabilities of analyzing large data sets that is beyond human cognition. That is the beauty of artificial intelligence. Now, why artificial intelligence for healthcare? AI has made inroads into every sector, and healthcare is no exception. So, recognizing the importance of AI, the Indian Council of Medical Research released the guidelines, the ethical guidelines for AI. So the main aim was to provide an ethical framework that can assist in the development, deployment, and adoption of AI-based solutions for biomedical research and in healthcare delivery. Now, the beauty of AI and its techniques is that it can provide exceptional accuracy and help in healthcare. For example, it can automatically read the CT scans, it can automatically compare and give results by studying chest x-rays, and it can even predict the onset of breast cancer before visual signs appear by reading through a mammography scan. So an exceptionally important role, artificial intelligence has widespread applications in healthcare. Now, we cannot hold artificial intelligence accountable for the decisions it makes. So there has to be an ethically sound framework to guide AI technology development and its applications in healthcare. So AI technologies are developed and they're applied in clinical decision making. So we have to have a process that discusses accountability in case of errors for safeguarding and protection. And that is what ICMR guidelines are about. Now, who are going to follow these guidelines? So the artificial intelligence is being introduced into healthcare, into biomedical research, and all the stakeholders will be bound to follow the guidelines. They may be innovators, they may be developers, they may be technologists or researchers, even ethics committees and the institutions, and healthcare professionals as well, even sponsors and funding agencies involved in research. They will be bound to follow the guidelines given by ICMR about artificial intelligence. Now, the ICMR ethical guidelines have been divided into 5 sections. So, section 1 is about ethical principles for AI. Section 2 is guiding principles for the stakeholders. Third one is the ethical review procedures in medical AI. Fourth is informed consent. And fifth one is governance of AI technology use. So let us take the first section, that is ethical principles of AI in healthcare. If you see the section 1, it comprises of 10 key patient-centric principles for AI application, starting from autonomy and then last of all validity. So let us take them one by one. Autonomy. Now, the principle of autonomy tells us that there should be a human oversight on the functioning and performance of AI system. We cannot leave alone an AI system without any surveillance or without any oversight. And before initiating any process on any patient, it's very important to attain consent from that subject, who must also be informed about the physical, psychological, and social risks and more because of AI system incorporation. The second principle tells us about safety and risk minimization. It means to prevent any unintended or deliberate misuse of the AI, the data obtained through AI. So there should be avoidance of cyber attacks or any leakage of the data collected through AI. And the ethics committees are responsible for assessing the favorable benefit risk assessment. They have to make it before introducing any AI system into a research or into a trial. Whether the AI system, when introduced, is it beneficial or what are the risks associated by the introduction of AI system in that research project or in that clinical trial. Next principle is about accountability and liability. It means that there should be regular external and internal audits. As in any research project, internal, external audits are very important to check the functioning of the project. Similarly, whether the AI system is functioning and optimally, there should definitely be regular audits. The accessibility, equity, and inclusiveness principle, it actually acknowledges that the deployment of AI assumes widespread availability of appropriate infrastructure. So the availability of infrastructure which can make it possible to introduce AI in different projects or across different projects is very important. And this will help to bridge the digital divide. Another important principle given by ICMR is trustworthiness. So this is the most important, or what we say, the desirable quality of any diagnostic or a prognostic tool in healthcare. So clinicians, they need to build confidence in the tool. So whatever tools they are using, and it is associated with AI, right? So in order to effectively use AI, clinicians and healthcare providers need to have simple, systematic, and trustworthy ways to test the validity and reliability of the AI technologies. So it's simply like whenever we are using any tool, right? So we should be able to check its reliability by doing different tests. So definitely when AI is incorporated into research or incorporated into for biomedical research or for diagnostics, then there should also be tools to make it possible to check for the person who is using them that the reliability and validity of the AI technology. So AI-based solutions should be lawful, they should be ethically reliable, explainable, and transparent. So these are the qualities which together we can say that that AI tool is trustworthy and it can be used in research. Another very important principle in section 1 is data privacy. So data privacy, it's like whatever data is used by AI. There is no unauthorized access, unauthorized modification, or loss of the data. So the applications of AI to personal data must not unreasonably curtail people's real or perceived liberty. And these practices are very important in healthcare sector where medical information represents the sensitive data. So here the data is the medical information of a subject, the history of the subject. So the privacy of the data must be properly protected while using that AI application. Another principle in section 1 is optimization of the data quality. Now, since the working of artificial intelligence is wholly and solely based on data, and it's a data-driven technology, and the outcomes are also important, depend largely on, the data used for training and testing the AI. And therefore, before deploying AI technologies, the possibilities of biases must be considered. There should not be any bias which can hamper the final results which are interpreted by AI. So that needs proper identification and proper scrutinization. And this training data must not have any sampling bias as well. So such sampling bias is definitely going to interfere with the data quality and accuracy of the data. So researchers, it's the duty of the researcher, they must ensure that the data which is used by AI technologies is of proper quality. Another principle is of collaboration. So there is a collaboration among AI experts at the time of research and development. Now, this collaboration is important so that the most appropriate techniques and algorithms are used to address any health problem. So, any health problem, any research, any project in biomedical research, it has to be done in a way, or the collaboration has to be done in a way so that it gives us proper results. So, while interdisciplinary collaboration is encouraged, it's also important to ensure that there are no ill effects on the patients, whose data we are using to build that algorithm. Another principle is non-discrimination fairness principle. So the whatever data sets we are used for creating that algorithm, they must be accurate and they should be representative of the population in which it is used. So the researchers has a responsibility to ensure data quality. So whatever data we are using for that creating that algorithm or training algorithm, that should be representative of the population on which we are going to interpret the results later on. And the AI should not become a tool of exclusion. So it should not become a tool that will exclude people who require special attention, people who are vulnerable, like children, disabled people, minorities. Okay, so there should be no discrimination on the basis of vulnerability at all. Now, coming to section 2. Now, this section gives us the guiding principles for the stakeholders involved. Now, whosoever are involved in the development, validation, and deployment of AI, there are supposed to be certain guiding principles for them also, which are given by the same ICMR guidelines. Whatever the purpose and the end goal of data collection is done by developers through that IA technology or IA mechanism, that should be known to the institutes. So what is the purpose that, for example, we are collecting data from a particular institute through an AI-based application? What is the end result or goal of the data? So that institute should be aware of the goals of the data collection. Now, the data which is collected, it should not inflict any harm or discrimination to anyone. And whoever are the developers of AI technology, they should use techniques such as data encryption and data anonymization to serve the purpose. So it should be totally anonymous, whatever data they are collecting from patients, from people, okay, or it should be properly encrypted as well, so that there is no leakage or there is uh, no attack on the data and the data is leaked out or taken out by hackers. Then there should be an established mechanism to ensure delivery of information back to the patient. A feedback mechanism is encouraged for which the user or the physician can communicate concerns and suggestions with the developers. So if I'm a developer and I am making that AI technology and it's being used by a physician or a patient, then those physicians or the end user, we can say the end user should be able to communicate with the developers in case he wants to give a feedback or any suggestions. And of course, the data collection should be limited only to what is necessary. Like what it is meant for, the data should be collected for that purpose only and that kind of data only. So there is no need to go into unnecessary or those areas where it's not permissible to collect data. In the third section, the ICMR ethical guidelines for AI talk about the ethical review procedures in medical AI. Now, we know that the ethics committee is responsible for assessing both the scientific and the ethical rigor of a project, of a research project, of a clinical trial. So therefore, when there comes the use of AI technologies in a project, then the EC should consider inviting AI experts for that AI related project. And the ethics committee should also check proposals for what is the data source, what about the quality, safety, anonymization, and data piracy. Data selection, biases, that is, if there is any selection bias, they should inquire and they should know about it. Participant protection, payment of the compensation, possibility of any stigmatization, and others. So these, apart from these, and of course, the AI technology project, for that project, AI experts should be invited. And members should be occasionally trained in the emerging AI technologies, such as big data, data linkage, and Internet of Things. So since AI technologies, they are getting into healthcare, so definitely the ethics committee members, they definitely need some kind of training to be provided. So whenever any AI related project comes up for review, they should be able to understand and they should be properly able to evaluate that project. Section 4 is informed. 4 is informed consent process. The researcher or the end user of the product should be able to distinguish between the role of human caregiver and the technology during each part of the procedure of informed consent. And this should be explained to the subject, to the patient. A subject who comes for as a volunteer, as a patient, as a person who participates in a project, participates in a trial, he should be clearly told about the use of AI in the whole process. And the artificial intelligence technologies informing significant decisions should not attempt to make value judgments on people's behalf, right? So we are not giving any, no, we are not giving the power of, you can say, consent or the people's judgment. We are not putting it in the hands of AI. So that will not be considered as the proper consent process. It should be done by the subject itself. Section 5 is about the governance of the AI technology. Now, as we know, we have certain softwares which we call as medical device, or what we call software as a medical device. They are actually technologies. So if we are using any software for collecting data or for designing, like for example, a CRF, it has a potential to improve the health outcomes, which also carries along with immense challenges for regulatory bodies, right? So that kind of software, it should be properly regulated. So in order to do that, the Indian government has made efforts to streamline the AI technologies in various sectors, including healthcare. So one of the policies, the National Health Policy, which came up in 2017 and focuses on the integration of digital health and establishment of National Digital Health Authority for leveraging digital health technologies. Another one is the National Digital Health Blueprint. It further builds on developing a system of electronic health records based on the international standards. So this brings me to the conclusion of this presentation. So I would put 3 points before concluding that it's very important to have an ethical framework that addresses the issues specific to AI for biomedical research in healthcare. So ICMR has put forward that framework for us. And of course, globally also, research guidelines are being revised to regulate the AI incorporation because AI is happening everywhere. So guidelines need to be revised and guidelines need to be uplifted to accommodate that AI incorporation. And of course, the induction of AI into healthcare has the potential to be a solution for significant challenges. For example, like diagnosis and screening, AI will be of great help if it is used within the norms, within the guidelines, and considering the quality of the AI, this device or software, it can be a game changer. Thank you very much. The reference part, it has been taken up from the presentation has been taken from the ICMR guidelines, and this is the link for that. Thank you once again.